So what we have here is the wonderful prime rib. And I think a lot of people really enjoy this cut, but don't understand the versatility or how many different, I guess, steak cuts come from it, or how many times they maybe have experienced this in different formats and not understand that it's all comes from this piece. So, you know, you can do your standard prime rib that you get in a restaurant. You can do a ribeye roll steak. You can have, you know, a lot of different things from it, from, you know, whether it's going to be a smaller eye or not. But walk me through when you take this piece on, probably one of the most traditional things we do would be kind of a tied and rolled prime rib. And then from there we can take, you know, some different cuts off that. But show us like the most popular cut that you do with this.
You betcha. And I'll start off by saying this is my favorite cut. Sometimes fat scares people, but
Yes.
the flavor with a prime rib or a ribeye steak is the best that I'd pick it over any other steak.
So when we talk about the fat though, and I mean, the prime rib, the ribeye, it has outstanding marbling. And that's the important part. Like for me, this fat inside of there is really important. That's what's going to render down. That's what's going to add flavor. And people, you're right, they're afraid of the fat. The fat on the outside, to me, it adds some value, but not nearly as much as having that marbling. And that's what really all cuts are based on, whether you get a single A, double A, or triple A Canadian. It's all based on this ribeye marbling score and how much fat and the color is there. And I don't think people understand that a fatty meat is a good flavor, but the outside fat isn't really where it's going to change your experience as much as that inside marbling, right?
And the beauty of the prime rib too is you can get it from two different ends. So if you like a little more marbling, you get it from the chuck end, which is more to the front quarter, or you can get it from farther back towards the strip loin, which will be a leaner cut. So there is selections even with the prime rib for that.
You know, a lot of people I don't think understand that the ribeye or the strip loin or any of them, they change as they go through the animal, and certain ends have different flavor profiles and different fat content. A ribeye is not just a ribeye, or a prime rib it's going to depend on where you get it from that piece of the loin. So, but please take it, show me how you would handle this and get it to the first stage of where we want to go.
Yeah, thanks for customers is to get it as a roast. Now, the biggest fear with a roast would be the bone, because you cook it, you spend a couple hours cooking it, put your seasonings on, and then you don't know how to cut around the bone. So what we do is we call it a bone and rolled, and so we can actually take it and cut the bones off. And as you can see, we have our nice ribeye, and then we have our finger ribs. So the finger ribs do have lots of flavor to them, but that's the fear of cutting a prime rib is what do I do with the bone? So all I would do is I trim some of the fat off. Now the next part, I tie this roast just to make it a nice even cut.
Now, people at home, I've tried to tie myself. I'm not that slick. And you seem to have a pretty good system that goes for you to get that tie.
Well, and everyone,
just years of experience.
It's years of experience, and everyone ties a little bit differently. So you'll notice that if you go to different meat cutters, they all have a different technique of tying. So it is, you almost have to find your own way with it.
I've heard that the old traditional meat cutters, they wouldn't make that cut. It's just one continuous string.
Yep, I've seen that before too. So as you can see, we'll finish this last tie.
Yeah. So what does tying do to it? Like, what does it help with?
A lot of it's forming the roast so it cooks evenly. So you can see it all will be about the same size diameter, cook evenly throughout. Now my next step with this is you want the flavor of the bone, and the beauty of this is you can actually use it as a rack. So when I take this, I'll flip it. So it forms back onto the prime rib. And I'll give it a couple ties. And this just holds it on. One more. And so the beauty of this is when you're done cooking it, so when you cook it in your oven, you're going to put it like this, use the bones as a rack, natural rack. Once it's done, you can actually just cut those first 2 rows of string, the bone will come off, and then you can flip it, and you can cut your steaks with it. So no fighting bones, and you still get the flavor of the bones with it as well. So,
and you know, you did it this way, and from where we started. And if you were to cut between the bones and then French that bone down, then you would have, your Frenched rib steak. If we had a longer bone, that's where your tomahawk would come from. And even if you just take the bones off, that's that's traditional like beef back ribs.
Yes.
And not be confused with the short ribs. So that you have all these different cuts, but you're still left with that beautiful lip-on ribeye. And what that means is just how much on each end is there, right? So you have your traditional prime rib, or in I guess meat terms would be a fat cap off rib, and then you can go to a lip-on ribeye, and then when you remove that fat and you get that center, which he's going to do here quickly or shortly, is you end up with a ribeye roll. And then we can start talking about the cuts in between those. It is a very complex piece of meat that just performs so well and so much versatility. And I'm not a huge fan, but I understand and appreciate how much opportunity there is to customize this to whatever you want to offer, whether it be on the barbecue, through the oven. This cut goes from Christmas to summer to fall. It just always works.
I do find it very forgiving as well. I've overcooked them a couple times, but with the flavor that's in it, it's still excellent.
Well, you overcook it and it just becomes a little bit more tender.
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe not the doneness you want, but the meat is just going to be outstanding. So, all right. So let's go from this and let's cut some steaks and and take a look at where we would go if we were just going to cut a classic ribeye steak.
I'll take that row. So as you can see, it's that easy. Bones come right off.
So what would you do with the bones? Let me back it up here. So you've made a beautiful prime rib roast at Christmas. You have these bones; they're roasted off. Do you eat them with that? Do you set them aside? What do you do?
Some people love the ribs, so we actually can cut it so you can cut right through the ribs, and lots of people will like to just eat the rib itself because it is off the prime rib, very tender, very flavorful, so it's a good option for people that do like the bone.
Okay, but one of the things that we do at Prairie Meats that's kind of unique to the market is you guys do a seasoned rib roast, right? So walk me through, I come in and I'm like, hey, I'm looking to do something special for family or friends. How does that work, the seasoned?
Yep, so we'd always ask, would you like it seasoned or not? And what it is, it's a signature steak spice that we've created. And we add a little bit of butter, a little bit of oil, mix it all together for you. And what we'll do is before we put the rib on, we'll actually put the butter all around inside. We'll put the ribs on top, and then we'll finish coating it with the seasoning as well. So it gives that nice dark steak spice and a nice flavor to it as well. And the butter will actually absorb into the meat and give it that extra flavor.
Perfect. And if I get that done, how long can I leave it in my fridge before I have to cook it? Like what's the shelf life?
We usually say about 3 days for anything that we wrap over the counter. Now, we can add a little shelf life if you recommend it to be a sealed, like a vac seal. You usually get, more like 5 to 7 days, depending on the product. But that's kind of the rough estimate that we would give for that.
Perfect. All right. Well, now that we've got the bones removed and we were getting back to the ribeye, let's cut a standard ribeye steak that you would offer.
So standard thickness is usually about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. Now we do talk to customers before, and they can let us know if they want thicker or thinner.
So I get in a 1-inch ribeye. How much is that? Like weight-wise, is that about a 12-ounce, 14-ounce steak?
It depends on the loin. Now most will be probably closer to that 16 ounces, but we do get different loin sizes, and you can recommend any size you like, and we can custom cut it for you. So
we order our traditional ribeye steak. What if I want something just a little bit different, a little bit less fat? Can we take this down to the traditional ribeye roll, which would be, almost just the eye of the meat?
You betcha we can. Yeah, we can trim some of the fat for you and give you just exactly what you're looking for if you don't want the eye on it there.
All right. So show me. Give me a little example of how that would look. I mean, for someone who hasn't had that, and ribeye, for a lot of people, they say, I love the flavor, but I really don't want all the fat. And when you get down to a ribeye roll, really all you have left is the two muscles separated by that fat. Personally, the best cut in the whole thing is this cap, and these two muscles separate. Now, walk me through, maybe do a cut. Like if this isn't something that you typically are going to be able to get, but if you want to buy this steak, show someone how they could remove that and the options with that cap that can be done, right? Because it's really this simple.
You can almost
create
see
2 different meals out of this one steak.
Not even using a knife, you can basically pull it right apart.
Yeah.
And I would just trim up a little bit of this fat.
Yeah.
take the plug out. I would trim a little bit of the outside as well, but it really, lots of people like to spin this.
They do it, yeah. They do a little pinwheel.
Yep.
They season that, and then, you know, if a customer came in and said, "Hey, I'd love you to cut me a ribeye steak and make me two," you could take that, you could tie that up, and they could have two different experiences from one great
You
cut.
betcha, absolutely.
And that's, you know, some of the unique things that you just, unless you really understand how the muscles work, it's hard to break these pieces down and get a great eating experience. But like, if you look at this and you said this is a ribeye, most people aren't going to think this is a ribeye steak, but this is that one muscle, this is the other muscle, but it all comes right from here, which is intimidating for a lot of people. So giving them the options of how they can transform this may change people's opinions on how a ribeye can be eaten.
Absolutely.
Yeah.